Most people in the restaurant saw the tattoos and leather jackets. Jake saw the little girl's hand, and that made all the difference. She walked in holding a man's hand, maybe 7 years old, blonde ponytail, pink backpack. The man wore khakis and a polo shirt, smiled at the hostess, said, "Table for two, please." "My niece is starving." The girl didn't smile. She looked at the floor. Jake watched from the corner booth. He and his crew had stopped for breakfast after the charity ride, 15 bikers in leather and patches. Half the restaurant had gone quiet when they walked in. Parents pulled children closer. The hostess seated them in the back. Jake was used to it, had been for 20 years. People saw the ink and the scars and assumed the worst. He'd stopped trying to change their minds, but he never stopped watching. The girl and the man sat 3 tables away. The man ordered for both of them. Pancakes, orange juice. The girl hadn't said a word. "You see that?" Marcus, Jake's riding buddy, leaned over. "Kid looks scared." Jake nodded. Something was wrong, he just didn't know what, not yet. The girl's hand moved, slow, deliberate. She raised it like she was scratching her face, but her palm faced out, her thumb tucked in. Then her fingers closed over it. Jake's coffee cup stopped halfway to his mouth. "Boss," Marcus followed his gaze. "What is it?" Jake didn't answer. He was counting, watching. The girl lowered her hand. 10 seconds later, she did it again. Same motion, same signal. His chest went tight. "That's the signal," he whispered. "What signal?" "The help me signal. For kids in danger." Jake set down his cup. His hand shook. "She's asking for help." He knew because his daughter had taught him. Before the accident, before the drunk driver ran the red light, before Jake spent 3 years wishing he'd died instead of her, Sarah had been 12. She'd seen a video at school. Some viral thing teaching kids a silent distress signal for video calls and public places. She'd made Jake practice it with her at dinner, made him promise to remember it, made him swear that if he ever saw a kid do it, he'd pay attention. "Dad, most grown-ups don't notice kids," she'd said. "You have to be one who does." He'd promised. It was the last promise he ever made to her. Now, 6 years later, this little girl was using it, and everyone else in the restaurant was looking at their phones or their pancakes or the bikers in the corner. No one saw her, except Jake. The man leaned forward, grabbed the girl's wrist, not hard enough to make a scene. "Just hard enough. Keep your hands on the table, Emma. We talked about this." The girl went completely still, that kind of still that comes from practice, from knowing what happens when you don't obey. Jake stood up. "Boss, what are you doing?" Marcus hissed. "Call the cops. Tell them possible child abduction. Tell them we're not letting them leave." "Jake, do it, now." Marcus pulled out his phone. The rest of the crew watched Jake cross the restaurant. Conversations stopped. A woman clutched her purse. Jake ignored them all. He walked to the man's table, kept his voice calm, friendly. "Excuse me, sorry to bother you." He smiled at the girl. Her eyes went wide. "I just wanted to say my niece has that same backpack, the one with the unicorns. She loves it." The man's jaw tightened. "We're in the middle of breakfast. I understand, just being friendly." Jake crouched down, eye level with the girl. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emma." Her voice was barely a whisper. "That's a pretty name. You doing okay, Emma?" She looked at the man, then at Jake. Her hand moved slowly, the signal again, thumb tucked, fingers closed. Her eyes begged him to understand. "I see you," Jake whispered. "You're safe now." The man stood fast enough to knock his chair back. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but you need to step away from my niece." "Here's the thing." Jake stood too, 6'3", 240 pounds, 17 years of construction work and grief. "I don't think she's your niece." "Excuse me." The restaurant had gone silent. Jake's crew was already moving. Spreading out, casual, but blocking the exits. "Emma." Jake kept his eyes on the man but spoke to the girl. "Is this your uncle?" She started crying, shook her head. The man grabbed for her arm. Jake's hand shot out, caught his wrist, gentle but iron. "Don't. Let go of me or you'll what? Make a scene." "Pretty sure you don't want that." Jake's voice dropped. "Because I've already called the cops, and because this whole restaurant just watched you try to grab a crying child who says you're not her family." The waitress appeared, middle-aged. Name tag said Carol. "Is everything okay here?" "No, ma'am, it's not." Jake still held the man's wrist. This little girl has been signaling for help, and I don't think this man is who he says he is. Carol looked at Emma, at the tears, at the way she shrank away from the man. Her face changed. I'm getting the manager. Police are already on the way, Marcus called from the door. The man tried to pull free. Jake held firm. Let me tell you why I know that signal, Jake said quietly, just to the man, just so he'd understand. My daughter taught it to me 6 years ago, before she died. She made me promise I'd always watch for it, that I'd be the one who noticed. His voice cracked. So that's what I do, I watch, and today I saw. He released the man's wrist. Stepped back, but his crew was everywhere. The man wasn't going anywhere. Emma slid out of her chair, ran to Carol. The waitress wrapped her in a hug. It's okay, baby, Carol whispered. You're okay now. 3 minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up. A female officer came straight to Emma, knelt down, spoke softly. Emma nodded, pointed at the man, pointed at Jake. The officer stood, walked to Jake. You the one who called it in? My buddy did, but yeah, I saw her making the signal. The hand signal from the viral video? Yes, ma'am, 3 times, maybe more. The officer looked at him, really looked, saw the leather, the tattoos. The grey in his beard, the grief in his eyes. What's your name? Jake Morrison. Mr. Morrison, you may have just saved this child's life. She turned to the man. Sir, I need you to come with me. We have some questions. This is ridiculous. She's my niece, her mother. Save it. The officer's hand moved to her cuffs. Emma already told me her name, her real name, and her mother's name, and that she's never seen you before today, that you grabbed her at the park and told her you'd hurt her mom if she screamed. The restaurant erupted, gasps, anger. The man was cuffed and walked out, still protesting, still lying. Emma sat wrapped in a blanket the paramedics brought, drinking apple juice. A detective was on the phone with her mother. 17 miles away, frantic on her way, Jake stood by the door, ready to leave, ready to disappear like he always did. Wait. Emma's small voice. She'd slipped away from Carol, walked over to him. You saw me. Jake's eyes burned. He crouched down again. Yeah, sweetheart, I saw you. No one else did. I know, but you were so brave. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. My teacher taught me. She said someone would see. She was right. Emma hugged him, fast, tight, then let go and ran back to Carol. Jake stood, turned. The whole restaurant was staring, but different now. The woman who'd clutched her purse had tears running down her face. A father at the next table stood up, extended his hand. Thank you, he said. I'm sorry thank you. Jake shook it, nodded. The manager appeared. Your meals are on the house, all of you and I. I'm sorry it's okay. Jake managed a small smile. Happens a lot, we're used to it. You shouldn't have to be. Carol came over, mascara running. How did you know? How did you see what everyone else missed? Jake pulled out his wallet. From behind his license, he drew a small photo, creased, worn. A girl with dark hair and bright eyes. 12 years old, throwing up the peace sign. She'd made him take it the day she taught him the signal. My daughter Sarah, she taught me to pay attention, made me promise. His voice cracked. I couldn't save her, but maybe this is why, so I could save someone else's little girl. Carol pressed a hand to her mouth. She reached out, squeezed his shoulder. She'd be so proud of you. I hope so. 20 minutes later, a car screeched into the parking lot. A woman ran inside. Emma, Mommy. Jake watched them reunite, watched Emma's mother drop to her knees and hold her daughter like she'd never let go. The officer explained what happened, pointed to Jake. Emma's mother walked over. She couldn't speak, just hugged him, sobbed into his leather jacket. He patted her back awkwardly, gently. Thank you, she finally managed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She saved herself, Jake said. She was smart. She was brave. You taught her well. You saw her when no one else did. Someone had to. As they left, Emma turned back one more time, raised her hand, but this time she waved, a real wave, safe, free, smiling. Jake waved back. His crew gathered around him in the parking lot. No one spoke for a moment. That was something, boss, Marcus said quietly. Yeah. Your daughter would be proud. Jake looked at the photo one more time before sliding it back into his wallet. Yeah, I think she would. They rode out together, 15 bikers who looked dangerous, who most people cross the street to avoid, who'd just proven that the scariest-looking people sometimes have the biggest hearts. And Jake thought about Sarah, about promises kept, about how the worst day of his life had prepared him for someone else's worst day, about how pain doesn't have to be wasted. Sometimes it teaches you to see what others miss, to be watching when everyone else looks away. Most people saw leather and tattoos and turned away. But Emma had seen her only chance, and Jake had seen what everyone else missed, a little girl being brave enough to ask for help in the only way she could. Sometimes the people who look most dangerous are the safest ones to trust, and sometimes keeping a promise to someone you lost is how you save someone else.